What is up guys, and welcome to Matrix. My name is Eric and welcome to another video. This is gonna be my preview of the new upcoming World of Warcraft expansion, Warlords of Draenor. This expansion, guys, you have no idea. When I saw the announcement trailer for the very first time, I was geeked out of my mind. I couldn't sleep until 3 in the morning, and I was so thrilled when I saw this amazing announcement trailer. In this video, guys, I'm gonna be covering all of the news that was given during Blizzcon, and I'm gonna start out by World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor. And before we get to all the major features and the lesser features, of course, I wanna show you the announcement trailer for the Warlords of Draenor, so you get aware of how it's gonna be.
It is the lifeblood of this world. We are its children. Soon, its masters. Ours is a legacy of conquest. Rising tide of blood and iron that will wash over this world and all others. Our bond is iron, our will unbreakable. Who will stand against us?
Wow, that was truly an awesome announcement trailer indeed, guys. Wouldn't you agree? I agree. Whatsoever, guys, let's get right into it. Let's find out what Warlords of Draenor is all about. But before I start talking about any of the new features yet, I want to be talking a little about the lore too. I think lore is as much as important as the features are. I'm not so good at lore though, so I will try to make this as short and easy as possible. A lot of you guys probably ask, Eric, why are we even going back in time? Why are we going back to Draenor? What's the point of all this? I have answers for you. I have answers for you, of course I have. And I will tell you it in a minute. But before I start talking about that, I just want to tell you some quick facts about Draenor itself. Draenor is the homeland of the orcs. This was where the orc nation was spawned. And originally there were 7 different orc clans divided on the continent. All like Nagran. It was there the Warsong clan ruled, and Frostfire Witch was the Warsong clan. Now, Nagran was the Warsong clans, and Frostfire Witch was the Frostwolf clan, and so on and so on. And all of these 7 different clans didn't like each other. They kind of disliked each other, of course. So there were actually these wars going on between the different factions, because they all wanted to rule over Draenor, but they couldn't do so because there were other clans that ruled over that zone, so they had to conquer that zone first in order to rule over the zones, of course. But anyway, there were these wars going on, and in the end, and eventually, this legendary orc we all know, so dearly know, Gromma's Hellscream, also known as Grom, the father to Garrus Hellscream, finally one day achieved to reunite all of his 7 orc clans into one, and they got on the same team, of course. And then they had peace. It was some very beautiful and very happy days of Draenor. All these 7 clans were reunited, and there were no reason to fight, because they were all on the same team. And it was their land. It was their homeland. Nothing else. Until the Draenei came. The Draenei was escaping from their old planet, because the Burning Legion was invading their old planet, so they went to another planet called Draenor. And they set up their camps in Shadowmoon Valley and built this huge temple, the Temple of Karabor. The Alliance is going back in time and defending the Temple of Karabor and making it their main city this expansion. The Horde is gonna start out in Frostfire Ridge and defending the Bladespire Citadel and make it their main city this expansion. And yeah, that is just some quick facts about the law of Draenor. And when the Draenei came, of course, the orcs were not happy about this. So there's huge wars going on between the Draenei and the orcs. But you still have questions, and I will answer them now. Why are we going back in time? What's the point of all this? Well, Garrosh Hellscream, in the end of Mists of Pandaria, in the end of the Siege of Orgrimmar, we finally managed to put an end to Garrosh, or that is what we think. His hands got wrapped in chains, and we finally watched him as he got escorted out by Terran Shu. He got put in a prison cell in Pandaria, and there he remains for a couple of months before his verdict. And then we see this vision from the Timeless Isle, where we see Garrosh sitting in his prison cell, and Anduin is interacting with him. And that is all we see in the vision. And what happens next, we don't know. All we know now is Garrosh has escaped his verdict. He has escaped his prison cell in Pandaria, and he hates the Horde. He hates the Alliance. He hates Thrall especially, and also he hates his true own Horde, because they failed him too. He hates everyone. So he has gone all in, and he tries one more time at giving it a final chance. He's going back in time, back to Draenor, the glory days of Draenor, and he is trying to preventing the orcs from drinking the blood of Manoroth. If the orcs are drinking the blood of Manoroth, they will lose their mind, and they will turn into madness and probably kill each other. So Garrus is trying to prevent that from happening. So what Garrus is trying to do is that he's trying to prevent them from drinking the blood of Manoroth and trying to reunite them into one clan called the Iron Horde. And Garrus is taking all of his resources from the current timeline back into Draenor. And it will be pretty interesting to see what he has in store for us. And then Garrus is trying to reunite all of the Orc clans into the Iron Horde, trying to march all of their forces onto Azeroth, killing everything they see, and we gotta stop. Okay, now we know a little about the lore behind the expansion. I think it's time for us to take a look at the new continent, Draenor itself. We got a total of 8 different zones. 7 of these zones are zones where you're supposed to level in, and the 8th one is a zone for PvP only, and it's only for it's a place to hang out and do PvP, world PvP. I suppose it is some kind of Wintergrasp or Tolbarad. Perhaps not. We don't know that much yet. And at this specific PvP island, which you can see northeast of Draenor, I think it's there, or maybe it's the little island southwest for Draenor, maybe. But still, it is some kind of place where you can do the trial of the gladiator, which I'm gonna be going over later on in the video. But we still have 7 normal ordinary zones. We got Frostfire Ridge, Gorgrond, Tanan Jungle, Shadowmoon Valley, Spirits of Iraq, Talador, and and last but not least, Nagran. And my favorite of all these zones probably gonna be Nagran, because it also in our land, my favorite zone there too is also Nagran. And my favorite zone overall in the game of World of Warcraft is Nagran 2. But let's just go over through each and every zone very quick. We got Frostfire Ridge. Frostfire Ridge is where the Horde is supposed to start their leveling, their journey throughout Draenor. And this is where the Horde will defend the Bladespire Citadel and make it their main city this expansion. As you can see, Frostfire Ridge is this battle-scarred snowy landscapes filled with volcanic peaks and volcanic mountains. This is the homeland of the Frostwolf clan, led by Durotan, father of Thrall. We're gonna go a little east to Gorgrond. This is the homeland of the Black Rock clan, led by Black Hand himself. Gorgrond actually reminds me kind of like Durotar mixed with Badlands and Blasted Lands at the same time. Here it's the arsenals of the Iron Horde. This is the zone where the Iron Horde keeps its arsenal filled with siege weapons overall, and I think this is also gonna be the old kinda like Blade Edge Mountains, also the homeland of the Grunts, these big badass Grunts here. Look at them, guys, like amazing. We're gonna go a little south to the Tanaan Jungle. Tanaan Jungle is the homeland of the Bleeding Hollow clan, led by Kilrock Deadeye. And this Tanaan Jungle, I don't know much about it. All I've read in the description is that it is a wild jungle. It is overall a wild jungle, and it's the old Hellfire Peninsula before it got corrupted by demon magic and such. But I think this zone will also be amazing too, and this is also where the Dark Portal is located, where they're trying to build up the Dark Portal so they can march onto Azeroth. We're gonna go south again to Shadowmoon Valley, and Shadowmoon Valley, as we know it today from the originally Outland, it cannot be compared. It is so much different than the Shadowmoon Valley as we know it today. I mean, just look at these pictures, guys. Look at it. Shadowmoon Valley is the most beautiful zone I believe there is on this new continent. I mean, look at this. And this is also the homeland of Ner'zhul's clan, which is the Shadowmoon clan, and also home of Gul'dan's clan, which is the Storm Reaver clan. So we both got Shadowmoon clan and Storm Reaver clan, led by Ner'zhul and Gul'dan, both orc shamans who are getting persuaded by the demons later on in their stories. But we also have, to the very east point of Shadowmoon Valley, we have the Temple of Karabor. This is where the Alliance is going to start in the Shadowmoon Valley and defending the Temple of Karabor. This is their main city, this expansion. We're gonna go a little southwest to the Spires of Arak. Spires of Arak, I don't know much about that either, but I know it's the home of the Aroka. The Aroka are these bird people we know today from Outland as well. And this is also the homeland of the Shattered Hand clan, led by Kargath Bladefist. And Spires of Arak, I think, is some kind of where there are a lot of mountains, I guess, and deep valleys at the same time. But I think it's a very nice zone, and it probably reminds a lot like the southern part of Terraca Forest as we know it today. If we go a little north, we got Talador, which is the old Terraca Forest, and here we got a much larger Shadowwrath city. We got the Arcadinian repaired at its full might. I mean, you know, and sorry if I didn't pronounce it right. You know what I'm meaning. And there are no clans located here. No of these 7 orc clans are located in Talador. This is just a neutral land, both with Draenei and orcs in it. So there's going to be a lot of war here in the middle, in the center of Draenor. I look so much forward to see Shadowwrath at his glory time. But we're going to go to the west, and the final and last but not least, Nagran. Nagran, this zone, guys, it gives up so many memories. I used to level all the time in Nagran when I was level 64, level 65, level 60, and I was just leveling in Nagran all the time. I love this zone. It's the best zone in World of Warcraft. The end. And I think it's gonna be a lot more beautiful in Draenor than it is in the current Outland, because without all the fell magic and demonic corruption, it's gonna be 10 times much more beautiful, and I look so much forward to see it in the game. And here we got the Warzone clan. The Warzone clan is their homeland in Nagran, and here the Warzone clan is been led by Gromma's Hellscream, a badass war chief. But these were the 7 different zones in the continent of Draenor, plus the 8th zone, which is this PvP only zone for the end for the end game. Like, you need to be level 100 in order to end this zone, I suppose. And it's gonna be pretty much like Wintergrasp and Tulbarad. That's my thoughts on it. Yeah. Alright guys, we now know something about the lore, about the new continent, the main cities, the clan leaders, and so on and so on. But we still need to know a lot about this new Garrisons, which is another very huge feature for this new expansion, Warlords of Draenor. What is this new Garrisons anyway? Well, let's go find out. Garrisons means player housing. It's like you can create and customize your very own city, just like an RTS game. So they're like bringing an RTS game into an MMO game, and this will be interesting to play in the real game when it comes out. I mean, just imagine, okay, I'm gonna place a farm here, I'm gonna place a town hall here, I'm gonna place the armory here, and so on and so on. And you can customize where you want your buildings, where you want your walls. And I also think, I've heard that you could also be able to choose whatever zone in Draenor you want to set up your base, and that is also so cool. I mean, you can like having your own base, and the bigger and more popular your base will get, the more followers you will eventually get. And followers are these kind of like NPCs that will just walk into your town of some kind, and you can actually go and interact with them. When you're doing so, you can actually send them on a mission, like they let them do a quest, or let them go build up a house, or maybe let them do a dungeon, and they will do all of this while you are offline as well. So like, if you are asking all of your followers, all of them, to go out and do missions for you and do dungeons and just go out and do a profession, so you can get some benefits out from it, you can send and let them do that while you are actually AFK. So just like, okay, I'm gonna walk the dog in 10 minutes, I'm just gonna let all my followers do a dungeon, and I will go back in a minute, and just like that. And then when you get home, you can find out that they have done the dungeon, all of them, and you can get benefits, I think. And all of this is something that is appearing to be 3 different tiers. You start out in tier 1, and you can see right here that your little city is not that big, and it will grow huger, and your buildings will upgrade eventually. It depends on how much time you spend on your garrison, I believe, how many followers you got and how much work you put into it, and eventually your entire town will upgrade to tier 2, and the final tier is tier 3. And you can see on these pictures, it all looks amazing. I'm not so much aware of what else I have to say, but let's just watch this very quick video just showing you from tier 1 to tier 3. Enjoy, guys.
This is a video showing the garrison upgrading.
Okay guys, let's get right into the new character models. We all expected these character models to come up eventually, and we were actually also hoping that they would release them during Mist of Pandaria throughout the patches, of course, but they never did. And I was starting to worry, actually, would they ever implement new character models that we have deserved for such a long time now? And finally, when I saw the announcement trailer, I was geeked out of my mind to watch the new Orc model, the new Dwarf model, the new Gnome model, and so on and so on. They're first gonna do the 8 original vanilla races, just such as Human, Orc, Dwarf, Undead, Night Elf, Tauren, Gnome, and Troll. These are the 8 original World of Warcraft races, and they're gonna take a look at them first, and afterwards, maybe throughout patches, of Warlords of Draenor. They're gonna take a look at Blood Elves and Draenei, and also, last but not least, Goblins and Worgens, because they probably also need a little bit change with their eyes, the way they look, maybe. But I don't really care that much, because we finally got upgrades to our 8 original races of Azeroth, and as you can see, they got many more pixels on their body, and we also see here the undead compared to the old one. It's changed a lot. The one thing that bothers me though is that if you look at this Torrent, for example, the new character model for Torrents, the one thing that bothers me the most is that he looks way more cartoon stylish now, if you know what I'm saying. Like, take for example this old Torrent model. He looked way more brutal and evil, and the new model here just makes him look way more friendly, and makes the old one look way more brutal. The newer one is much more cartoon style compared to the old one, and you gotta agree me on that. But anyway, if you look on the way they move their mouth, move their faces, it is so much different. So much different, and I look very much forward to see these new characters in game, especially my level 90 orc with the new character model. Oh my god, I look so much forward to see it in the game. But yeah, what do you think about new character models? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. Okay guys, let's get right into it. Let's take a look at PvE for Warlords of Draenor. There will be a total of 7 brand new dungeons available at launch. 4 for leveling and 3 for max level. One of these 7 new dungeons includes a revamp of the Uber Blackrock Spire from Vanilla WoW. And I read on the forums earlier this day that Uber Blackrock Spire plays a huge role in Warlords of Draenor. And maybe it's false, maybe it's true, but I truly look forward to see the revamp of this old school dungeon. Whatsoever guys, these 7 new dungeons will also be available on challenge mode difficulty 2. So don't worry guys, we will have challenge modes this new expansion. There will also be 2 new raids at launch. We got High Mall, which is located in Nagran, and this raid has 6 total bosses. Here we will example face off the mighty ogres. Look at these ogres guys, they look very terrifying, and the scenery in this raid overall, it looks amazing. I look so much forward to this expansion already. The second raid is Blackrock Foundry, which has 10 bosses. So we actually have 16 bosses total, which I think is a very fine number for a tier. Here we will face off the Iron Horde in their factory of weapons, siege weapons, and other powerful tools for war. In this raid, we will the last boss will be Warchief Blackhand himself, and I hope that Blizzard is putting a lot of effort into this last boss, because lore-wise, he is almost invincible. He is really strong, and I think he will be very badass to face off in a raid. And I'm not sure yet, but I think this raid is located in Gorgrond, north of Talador. But I couldn't imagine it to be situated somewhere else. I mean, Gorgrond is the only place in my imagination. And we will also have world bosses this expansion. There will also be new world bosses at launch, and the extra lucky coin for loot, and the extra chance of getting loot from raids and such. We will also have that too. So 7 new dungeons, challenge modes, 2 new raids, a total of 16 brand new bosses, High Mall and Blackrock Foundry, a revamp of the Uber Blackrock Spire from Manila, and a new world bosses. This is gonna be a great expansion, especially for PvE. If we take a look at this specific picture here, it symbolizes and shows us the new raid structure for the Warlords of Draenor. We can see now that in Siege of Orgrimmar patch 5.4, we can see that we have raid finder as usual, 25 man that is. We have flexible 10 to 25 man, it scales depending on how many players you are. We got normal 10 and 25 man, we can heroic 10 and 25. That is what we got, and that is what we know so far. But the new raid structure for patch 6.0 is that raid finder normal and heroic can now be scaled from 10 to 25 man, which is awesome. Now you're in a raid finder and you're only 17 people and a lot of guys leave. Don't matter, it scales down, and that is an amazing fact. But as you can see on the 6.0, the flexible has disappeared, and that is because that flexible will now become the normal. So yeah, it will actually just change name, and normal will now become heroic, and Heroic will change into a specific mythic raid difficulty only, where you only can be 20 men, and that is a new thing they have added. 20 men. We have not seen this kind of raid difficulty before, but I think it would be amazing to find out and see what mythic really is. But there are a lot of guilds out there that are 10 men who are doing endgame content on heroic progression. And what are they going to do? Like, I have a Dream Paragon, for example. They are a 10-man heroic guild. And what are they supposed to do if they suddenly need 10 men more in order to enter the raid? They got a problem, and I think a lot of guilds out there need to figure out what to do for the next expansion and how PvP is going to be like. But it looks very nice actually, that you can scale all the 3 difficulties except Mythic now, and all of these 4 different difficulties will also have a different logout too. Okay guys, let's take a look at PvP for Warlords of Draenor. There will be this new PvP zone that I mentioned earlier in my video, but sorry, because I was wrong. It was not located here northeast of Draenor. It was not located southwest of Draenor. It was located right here next to the Tenant Jungle near the Dark Portal, and I'm sorry, please bear with me and keep that in mind. This new PvP zone is called Ashran and will also be a sandbox area. What sandbox means, that is going to be war going on all the time, just like the old Alterac Valley in Vanilla WoW. And I didn't play it back there, so I think it's be pretty interesting to see how it's going to be overall. On this new PvP zone, there will be various faction bases, like scattered around the island. There will also be Draenor scenery in it, and I think it will be a very great zone. It will be cross-realm, like if you're on a server where there are a lot of hordes but not so many alliances, they will make it so you will be mixed up with a server that has the exact same problem the opposite way. Like, if you're on a server that has a high populated horde but not so populated alliance, you will face off a server with that has many alliances but not so many hordes. It will be fair for everyone, and that is a great idea. Thank you, Blizzard. Another thing they've added to PvP is the UI improvements. There's especially been made some UI improvements for battlegrounds, like if you see this dwarf here, he's trying to capture the flags, and we can actually see when he is done with capturing it, so we're actually being able to observe, and it will be much more easier to overcome, and yeah, I look very much forward to this too. They've also implemented the battleground score, and it is about time, Blizzard, thank you. Because battleground score is something that will increase on how you're doing in the BG. For example, if you're in Warsong Gulch, and if you are actually trying to capture the flag and trying to defeat and kill the enemy flag carrier, instead of just standing in the center of the BG and just grinding honor. If you're standing in the center of the BG and just grinding honor, your battleground score will not be as high as people who are actually doing what they're really supposed to do. And I think this is a great way to show people and make people more active in battlegrounds and such, and now they know, and maybe it makes them know what they're really supposed to do and such. And there will also be battleground rewards, and they can be very random. It could be everything from extra honor, vanity items, who knows, and maybe bind on equipped gear. And maybe this bind on equipped gear maybe is not the right for your spec, but it still is a nice feature though, and you will get this weekly quest where you can upgrade one of your items, and that is very interesting. The last thing I want to be talking about at like PvP for Warlords of Draenor will be the Trial of the Gladiator. What Trial of the Gladiator is that it is the arena ladder. If you're a high rated PvP player, you can queue up for people with the exact same rating. And this Trial of the Gladiator will only be available at specific times during the week. Everyone has the same gear, so it's fair for everyone. It's all about the skill. When you get inside this tournament, there will be some vendors standing around the place, and you can buy gear from them. And everyone has the same gear, so it's fair for everyone. It's all about the skill. When you're succeeding in this Trial of the Gladiator, you can earn like prestige rewards such as the Gladiator title and cool mounts, etc. So we will have the new PvP zone called Ashran next to the Dark Portal. It will be a sandbox mode and cross realm too. UI improvements has been made to battlegrounds, and if you're capturing a flag, battleground score has been implemented. It depends on how you're doing in the BG and the Trial of the Gladiator, which is some kind of tournament you can do throughout the week, and also battleground rewards that rewards, example, extra honor, items, and maybe bind and equip gear. Who knows? In the announcement trailer, we also saw this picture. We can now boost one of our characters from level 1 to level 90 if we want to, and play Warlords of Draenor immediately. I mean, this is a great way for people that has been inactive for a very long time now, who doesn't know much about the game, who just wants to get to max level and start doing Warlords of Draenor. And I think it's a great way, really, because imagine if you quit WoW in Wrath of Lich King and you're going back and you have to grind 10 levels in order to actually being able to play the new expansion. I mean, who the hell wants to grind 10 levels in order to do so? And I think they can be bought while they're leveling. So it'd be really nice if they can just boost one of their characters and get to max level already, and they can play the expansion right when it launches. And you can do this as many times as you want to, actually. But don't get me wrong here. You can only do this once. But if you are actually buying another copy of the Warlords of Draenor expansion, you will be able to do it again, I suppose, on the same account. I'm not sure, but maybe. Who knows? And yeah, so you can now be able to boost one of your characters to level 90, and it's only one character. And if you have a second account on your same Battle.net account, you can buy the expansion into it too, and you will get a free level 90 on that also. And this is also, this is, as I said, a great way for people that has been inactive for a long time now. There has also been UI improvements overall, especially to your bags. You will now be able to categorize your bags much easier, so it's much easier to overcome things. You can like make one of these bags like it will become for junk only, so all the junk you loot in the world will come into this specific bag, so it's much easier to overcome things. And you can also customize your bags much easier, and quest items will not fill out in your bags anymore. They will appear somewhere else, so they will not like it will be much more easier to overcome, and you will get a lot more bag space too. They've also made a bind on account system, for example heirlooms and toys, which is vanity items of course. Heirlooms is now account bound. They will appear in this extra UI, similar to the pets and the mounts UI of course. And so will all of your vanity items, like all the vanity items you farmed from rares throughout Pandaria. They will now appear in the same UI and available for all your alts and mains characters and such, and it's amazing. So all your heirlooms will be bind on account, so your alts can, for example, just go into this UI and start picking up their heirlooms they want, and that is pretty amazing if you ask me. And yeah, maybe they'll also implement this for tabards in the future. I hope they will, because I have a lot of tabards, and it'll be pretty sad if I have to, you know, whatever guys, but they will maybe implement this for tabards in the future. Yeah, so they've made some great UI improvements, like to your bags, so you can categorize them much easier. Quest items won't show up in your bags anymore, and you can save a lot of bag space, and heirlooms and vanity items are now bind on account, which is much more awesome and much more easier to overcome. They have made the item squish for this expansion, and we thought this would come a long time ago, because like example, from Wrath of Lich King to Cataclysm, the stats on Wrath of Lich King heroic gear you got in ICC, and the normal green leveling gear you got on the very first quest in Hyjal was so much better than ICC heroic gear, and that was pretty weird some kind, because the best gear this expansion, the very best gear, is not quite as good as the baddest gear this expansion, if you know what I'm saying. So they have made it so that the numbers of the stats will decrease heavily. Like if you got a staff that has 12,000 spell power, it will now decrease much more, and so will all of your stats overall. And but the damage you do, I think, and the power you have will not change at all. You will still be able to solo all content. An example on the Timeless Isle, if you kill this gold frog that takes 5 seconds for you to kill, it will still take 5 seconds after the item Squish has been made. So I think this is pretty amazing. They have just decreased the numbers of your stats heavily, but still you're still able to do to solo all content and such. And I want to thank you, Blizzard. Thank you so much. The new max level is, as I said, level 100. From level 91 to level 100, you will get a single upgrade to one of your core spells abilities. Like for if you're a fire mage, your fireball will suddenly do 30% more damage, which is a great upgrade if you ask me. And some of these can also include class changes. And many of these new upgrades for your core abilities will just going to be passive bonus, like think old school spell ranks. If you're in Manila, you dinged levels 37 and you got a new rank for K missiles, for instance. And so it will be when you're leveling from level 91 to level 100. Of course, when you're dinged level 100, you will also be able to get level 100 talents. And Blizzard have also revealed the new level 100 talents for us. I'm not going to be going over all of their talents right now for like all the different classes, specs, and so on. So I'm gonna put a link in the description, guys, where you can actually go and check out your very own class and customize your new talent system, and go check it out. I mean, for what I've seen so far about mages, I'm very impressed, and I look so much forward to these new level 100 talents. So maybe you should go and check it out, guys. It's really worth taking a look at. The one thing I want you to be very to think about this expansion, that now hit, expertise, parry, dodge, metagames, gem bonuses, and reforging, they're all gone. Because if you got a new item, it felt like some kind of job you had to do. Oh yeah, I got a new helmet, now I have to gem it and reforge and enchant and all that kind of stuff. And it was a pain in the ass. So they've removed the reforging now, so it's kinda like you gotta accept the stats that a specific piece of gear has. And the hit and expertise didn't feel like a stat overall. That didn't feel like a bonus. It just like felt like something you had to have, because if you didn't have the specific amount of person for hit or expertise, you would miss on your target, and that didn't feel like a bonus at all. It felt like a job, if you ask me. And parry and dodge also gone, and meta games also gone, and gem bonuses are also gone, and reforging gone too. The number of gems you got on your gear too will also be reduced, but although they will be more powerful than they ever were. So yeah, hit, expertise, parry, dodge, meta games, gem bonuses, reforging, all gone. And what I think about this, I think it's great actually. I mean, hit, expertise, thank God, Blizzard. I hated to like to go and do reforging to get the specific amount of hit I needed. And thank you, Blizzard, for putting that into the game. Another thing they've added is they've made it so that you will be able to enchant a lot less of your gear. So a lot less of your gear will now be enchantable, but some of your gear will have new enchants like cleave, avoidness, speed and sturdiness, and lifesteal. We will now have cleave. Cleave makes it so that our AoE damage will increase. Avoidness, it makes us, especially, it's very good for tanks, especially. It makes them avoid AoE stuff much easier. Speed is something that will stack and will increase your movement speed overall. Sturdiness is something that will make it so that you won't take any durability loss on your gear, and that is really, really great. And also, last but not least, lifesteal. We will also have lifesteal in the game, and I wonder how this is going to work in PvP. But maybe this is only available on PvE gear only. I don't know actually, but it will be very, very good for high rated guilds that are actually grinding content, and if it is very good for survivability also. I want to be talking a little about this too. When you're like changing from one specific spec to another, if you are like an Restoration Shaman and you are switching to Enhancement, your Spirit Intellect, etc. will change to example agility and such. So it will customize itself automatically. It depends on which spec you're in. So this means that we will save a lot of spec space, because if you're like a druid, you have 5 pieces of this tier for your restoration spec, and you have 5 pieces of this spec, pieces of this set for your balance set, and this is very different. Like you save a lot of backspace too, and your item and your tier sets bonuses will also change automatically. If you got 4 set bonuses for Druid Restoration, you will also have that for Feral too. If you just change from its Restoration to Feral, and it will automatically change its stats. I mean, I'm a mage, so it won't really affect me because the stats are pretty much the same, but still, it is really great. And rings, trinkets, necks, and such, like, they will become much more class based. Like, if you're a priest, if you're a healer, the trinkets you have will be more healer focused. Like, they will have a lot of spirit. If you're a tank, your trinkets will have a lot of armor, and they will try to put that back in the game also. Another thing they've added to Warlords of Draenor, they have changed the quest system a bit. Now you can see actually on your map what quest lines are very important and what quest lines are not so important. They're gonna focus a lot more on questing, a lot more on the experience and storytelling throughout quests. This is overall just an expansion that they will focus on telling you the story more exactly about the rise of the Horde and how these 7 clan leaders are as persons. And I look so much forward to this. Look at this picture, guys. There you can see we have 2 quest marks in Frostfire Woods that we have not completed yet, and that shows that there are very important quest objectives for the storytelling too. And I've also heard that they will be announcing more end content than ever before, more end game for level 100s than they have ever did before. And I look so much forward to the expansion overall, and I just want it already, but I have to be patient, guys. The last thing I'm gonna be going over in this Warlords of Draenor expansion preview, and the last thing I actually could find interesting about this new expansion, is that Blizzard has this social philosophy about this new expansion. WoW is more fun to play with friends, and we know that. They encourage you to play more with friends in future, like. So Blizzard have made it so if you queue up with friends and the same matchmate, if you queue up with friends, and if you also queue with the same matchmate group twice, it will also count as friends. Then you can earn extra valor, for example. This is something that is called stacking the deck, and it is kind of like a buff that will increase slowly. That it will also increase your valor point earned and justice points, etc. And this is great, and Blizzard really encourage you to play with your friends much more often instead of just looking for group. Yeah. So that is my video about Warlords of Draenor, World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor expansion. This new expansion, when it's going to be released, we don't know yet, but Blizzard have said that they will not be going to make patch 5.5 for Mists of Pandaria, because that will just slow development time very much. So they're focusing all their might on this new expansion, and I think personally, it will be released somewhere next year, around spring, the end of spring or the start of summer, maybe in April, May, or June, around there. I mean, Blizzard is really putting all their effort into this expansion. They're not going to release any more content for Mist of Pandaria. They're gonna focus all their might and all their energy and all their resources on this new expansion and get it out to us as quick as possible. And I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It was all the necessary information I could get about Warlords of Draenor, and I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to make Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm and Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls updates about Blizzcon 2013 this weekend. I'm going to the boarding school later on today, and I'm really sorry, guys. I will come home in next weekend, I suppose, and it's not even certain yet, but I think I will. And if I do, I'll make Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls preview, and also Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm updates, and give you all the information I can find about BlizzCon 2013 too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe for more videos in the future. If you like this video, please like, it always helps. And as always, Arkia, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.